Good morning. Welcome to Joe Stunner Boxing. Very interesting article. Well, a couple of articles actually. One is in Boxing News, the trade papers website. I read on the website, and the other is in Boxing Scene, and they both talk about Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, rather bizarrely, I didn't know this. I don't know whether you were aware of this, but ICE, Donald Trump's Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency are looking to deport Chavez from the US, and they call him a criminal illegal alien. Now, what's he been up to, you might ask? Well, ICE say Chavez is a Mexican citizen who's an active arrest warrant in Mexico for his involvement in organized crime and trafficking firearms, ammunition, and explosives. Actually, that statement came from the Department of Homeland Security. So, in other words, they view him as being a terrorist, basically. All right, okay. But he came to America, earned a few million dollars fighting, pretending to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know how much of this he's going to care about being kicked out of the US. They go on to the Department of Homeland Security, go on to say Chavez is believed to be an affiliate of the Sinaloa cartel, a designated foreign terrorist organization. And also Chavez Jr. has been arrested. This was shortly after the Jake Paul debacle, because there was a visa issue. So he's an illegal alien, yeah. Criminal or otherwise, they're saying he's an illegal alien. Chavez Jr. was asked if he was part of this Sinaloa cartel, and his reply was, "Fuck no." I hope not. But the Department of Homeland Security says Chavez filed an application for lawful permanent resident status. Lawful permanent resident status. His application was based on his marriage to a US citizen. Now, I am someone who lived in the US and I was married to a US citizen. I didn't apply for permanent residency. I had residency where I had to renew it every 3 years, I think it was. But Chavez wanted to stay over there, I guess, married to a US citizen. But this US citizen supposedly, allegedly, is connected to the Sinaloa cartel through a prior relationship with a now deceased son of the infamous cartel leader Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. It's like a soap opera, this, isn't it? It's marvellous stuff. And on December the 17th, I'm reading the Boxing Scene article now, so big up Boxing Scene. The Biden administration allowed Chavez to re-enter the country and paroled him into the country at the San Isidro port of entry. They then go on to say, the Department of Homeland Security, or ICE or whatever it is, following multiple fraudulent statements on his application to become a lawful permanent resident, he was determined to be in the country illegally and removable, and is removable, as he was removable as he was weighing in for the Paul fight. That's a strange. I don't understand that at all. Either he shouldn't be there or not. Boxing weigh-in shouldn't really come into it, but there we are. So yeah, I think young Julio. You can imagine his father. He's probably buried his head in his hands, going, "Oh God, why couldn't I have had Canelo as a son?" But there was always that sort of strange, maybe not so strange, entitlement element to Chavez Jr. Yeah, but this Sinaloa cartel, they're into their guns, ammunition, explosives, and so on. And I mean, if Chavez Jr. married someone who knew someone who had a close association with this cartel, is that his fault? Doesn't mean he's necessarily involved in the cartel. I mean, it's guilt by association, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, I'm only shooting the breeze here, chewing the fat, because I don't know the details. I only know what's in the articles I've read. But I mean, they go on to say, it was actually the Biden administration that flagged him up flagged the cartel up, and I think began some sort of procedures against Chavez Jr. But it says under the Homeland Security say, under President Trump, no one is above the law, including world-famous athletes. Our message to any cartel affiliates in the US is clear. We will find you and you will face consequences. The days of unchecked cartel violence are over. Well, I don't think there's much to disagree with there. I mean, I have an extremely low opinion of Donald Trump, and as I do of many British politicians who seem to regard immigration issues as the main bane of society. But I think if someone is illegally in a country, whether it's the UK, the US, or anywhere else, illegally, I don't think there's much to argue with it. You shouldn't be there illegally, and you certainly shouldn't be filling out forms with false claims. And definitely, if you do have any involvement with criminality, you should be deported. I have no problem with that whatsoever. To me, that's not even a left versus right debate. But yeah, Chavez Jr. is going to face some heat. I mean, he does have a rap sheet anyway, Chavez Jr. I mean, but it's for relatively minor stuff like driving under the influence. I think he was in jail for a couple of weeks because of what the Americans call a DUI, drunk driving, essentially. I think he was arrested in 2004 for illegal possession of an assault weapon. It was a short-barreled rifle that resulted in a conviction. And as someone who did emigrate to the US, I mean, from the UK point of view, the INS, which is who I dealt with, Immigration and Naturalization Service, they are hardcore. If you've got a traffic ticket on you, it took me about 10 months to get over there, and I was sponsored by my ex-mother-in-law. She was my sponsor. But if you've got a traffic ticket, they'll want to know why. Exactly what happened there then? They really go into everything hardcore. Of course, illegal aliens don't bother with any of that stuff. They just jump the fence, so to speak. But yeah, so that's what it is. That's the situation with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it did go on to say in one of these articles that the Sinaloa cartel have killed other Americans, kidnapped them, tortured them, and also traffic fentanyl across the US-Mexico border. That's the claim that's being made. And of course, fentanyl. I know in the UK, fentanyl is a big problem because they mix it in with heroin, and fentanyl, if you know anything about drugs, is very, very much more powerful than heroin. We've had lots of overdoses. We've had overdoses in the UK because I used to work in the drug and alcohol game. We've had overdoses, people smoking fentanyl, never mind, injecting it. And I believe it's the same in the US. There's a bit of a pandemic going on there. I mean, my ex-wife lives in Pennsylvania and in Philadelphia. What's the name of that area in Philly, which is a real hardcore drugs place? I can't remember it offhand. But there's one area where it's just teeming with drugs and drug addicts and so on. So, that's just one example. I mean, lots of cities in America, from what I gather, I don't live in America anymore, but they do have a big problem with drugs, so it has to be tackled. But anyway, I'm rambling as usual. So I hope you did enjoy this video. What do you think about this Chavez Jr.? He's a bit of a lad, isn't he? A bit of a Jack the lad. But let me know if you've got any opinions, or I'm sort of half amused by this, which I probably shouldn't be because it's a serious matter, but I do have a dark sense of humour. I bet some of you do as well. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Hit the like button if you like the video, and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for your time and your support as always. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.